Yes, in case you're wondering. I do know that Dragon Ball FighterZ exists. I guess I ought to get out of the way that I am disappointed that the new Dragon Ball game isn't going to be Xenoverse 3. Although I'm a little terrified to see the reaction to me even saying this, and I'll explain exactly why. You see, there's been a bit of a shitstorm brewing over since the early announcement of Dragon Ball FighterZ last week. Or, at the time of uploading this, 2 weeks. At the time, we knew that DBF was going to be a more traditional fighting game set on a 2D plane but with some 3D elements to it. It kind of gives off that feeling of one of those Flash games that essentially ripped off Super Smash Bros. That students would play in the middle of PC class. The shitstorm starts when people began raising concerns that DBF would have a small roster, at least compared to the sizable amount of characters from, say, the Raging Blast games. Now, while a slightly smaller roster of characters that cut out pointless ones like the soldiers from Xenoverse wouldn't really bother me too much, I can still understand why people would be worried that awesome characters like Broly or Cooler might be left out. I mean, the reality is that Arc System Works kind of dug themselves into that hole by choosing to make a game on Dragon Ball, which is a no short supply of fun characters. Yes, I did do my research, I'm well aware of the type of games that Arc makes. Sure, the highest character amount of their Guilty Gear games is 25, which for a fighting game is no small number, but the fact is, there would still be room for Dragon Ball's impressive roster. If that wasn't bad enough, we also have the other side who can't seem to get over the fact that others aren't excited for the game, or, God forbid, have anything negative to say about it. This includes anyone who might have a problem with a potentially small roster. My Twitter timeline is full, and I mean full, of entitled fuckwits talking about anyone that doesn't like the idea of a new Dragon Ball game being a standard fighting game as salty that they need skill to play now, or some other dismissive nonsense. Thanks, Fluff. Believe me, I understand why some of these people are so antagonistic towards anyone disappointed that the next game either isn't Xenoverse 3 or Raging Blast 3. It can be extremely irritating when people judge a game based on the standards of another, or even ignore a game entirely based on the grounds that it's not what I wanted. But did you think that maybe people were disappointed for a reason? Did you not think that a game like Xenoverse had a formula and design so good that maybe, just maybe, people wanted to see more of that? Did you not think that Bandai Namco essentially playing Sonic with the license of Dragon Ball might encourage people to voice how they'd want them to stick with a solid formula they had and work to improve it? Jesus, man, this fucking fandom sucks, I tell ya. Now, what did I think of Dragon Ball FighterZ? It's a fucking Dragon Ball game, how can I not be excited? I think it looks pretty good so far. I mean, there hasn't been an anime fighting game, at least from what I've played, that could reach Ninja Storm 4 levels of graphical fluidity as well as FighterZ has. Some parts of the dialogue animations look pretty silly compared to the combat and super move animations, but still, with how seamless the game looks to transition between the 2D fighting plane and the 3D, or dare I even say, anime level movement and framing, it's looking to not only keep your fingers busy, but even your eyes. Just looking at it gets me excited. I'll stop now. The gameplay itself also looks frantic and crazy. You know, in a good way. I've never really been much of a Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter fan, but with the little experience I have with this traditional fighting game style, even I can see it was carefully designed to live up to that genre. And coming from Arc, who are widely praised for excellent fighting games like Guilty Gear, I have no reason to suspect them of pulling a stinker like Ultimate Tenkaichi. But of course, this all doesn't come without a pinch of... No, that's not right. A couple handfuls of salt. Now you can sit there and bitch at me that, oh, a bigger roster will make the game unbalanced, or Arc always made fighting games with small rosters so it doesn't matter. All you want, but all those sound like excuses to me. I would have a problem if the roster of Dragon Ball FighterZ is small. I hate to say it, but if you are really that desperate to forgive an objective lack of content, then Arc shouldn't have decided to make a game based in the Dragon Ball universe to begin with. As I said earlier, yes, it does make sense to leave out some throwaway characters like those dumbass Cybermen or Frieza's soldiers, or even some of the transformations of our important characters. This is of course ignoring the fact that Arc System Works has already confirmed that some of the forms are dedicated to super moves, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. But it's basically a tradition to have a good amount of side characters and or movie characters included in the roster. If there won't be, then you better hope on your life that FighterZ isn't being sold for a premium $60 price tag. This is also assuming that the game will even launch with the basic standards of fighting games, those being a single player story, yeah, do me a solid and don't feed me that corporate garbage that nobody wants them because I will swat that spoon, an offline training mode and or offline or local battles, an arcade mode, not necessarily something like Mortal Kombat's modifier battles, just something to shake up the normal online, and some kind of ranked play. If it doesn't launch with any of that as well as a miniature roster, then you have a $15 game at most. It may hurt to hear that, but I want some bang for my buck, not a repeat of Street Fighter V, but with an anime universe that is near and dear to me. Am I being selfish? Probably, but like you, I'm a consumer and therefore have the right to demand better from the product that I paid for, and I will not spare even a developer with a pedigree like Ark should they fuck it up. Oh boy. Sorry for the shorter video this week. I didn't really have much to say about Dragon Ball FighterZ aside from the concerns that I had to get off my chest. I wanted to put this video up earlier this week, but I had to spend a couple days at a relative's house, but as soon as I got home, I was sure to work extra hard on getting the footage I need and writing out the script. Also, I know some of you might be expecting me to transition into covering primarily DBF after the initial reveal, but I want to say right now that probably won't happen. If I'm 100% honest, as fun as it was to do Dragon Ball content and build videos, I realize that as the games age, so does the interest people have in them. While I won't be uploading an entire storefront's worth of games as someone like Markiplier, I'll be doing different stuff on a regular basis. I guess if you wanted to make a comparison, I think the Rad Brad with a little bit of Jim Sterling sprinkled in would be a good start. Anyway, I just wanted to clarify that no, I'm not going to cover DBF any further than maybe doing a first impressions video or a review type thing. On a lighter note, I'm thinking about starting up a second channel for things like live streams, let's plays, just in general, videos with a lot less effort put into them, but uploaded a lot more frequently. I know, totally original, right? Anyway, I still have some real life shit to deal with, so for now, I'll just be sticking with the one video a week formula. Look forward to that and the inevitable DBF impressions, and I'll see you in the next video.